Hello, welcome back. TD Jakes, a towering voice in the religious world, has finally spoken out about the swirling controversy involving Sean Diddy Combs, and the words he shared weren't just another Sunday sermon, they were a powerful indictment. His remarks, though veiled and measured, have cracked open a conversation that touches on celebrity culture, spiritual accountability, and moral compromise in high places. For months now, the entertainment industry has been rocked by serious accusations against Diddy, ranging from abuse to misconduct. The stories are disturbing, the lawsuits mounting, and the evidence, some of it visual, hard to ignore. Yet, few from positions of spiritual authority have publicly acknowledged the firestorm, let alone challenged it. That changed when Jake stood before his congregation and, without mentioning names, made a thunderous moral declaration. His voice carried weight, not just because of his spiritual stature, but because of his previous proximity to Diddy. People listening didn't need names. They understood the target of his words. He said there comes a time when silence becomes a form of complicity, and when wrongdoing parades itself openly, the righteous must respond. The sanctuary was hushed. It wasn't a vague spiritual reflection. It was a challenge, a wake-up call. That struck a nerve. Jakes wasn't speculating or engaging in gossip. His tone suggested personal history, perhaps even disappointment. A man who had, at one point, shared private spiritual space with Diddy was now drawing a public line in the sand. It wasn't just his congregation listening. It was the world. The accusations against Diddy have become impossible to ignore. Lawsuits involving claims of manipulation, violence, and control have come to light. Then there was the video, grainy, brutal footage of Diddy attacking singer Cassie Ventura. The internet responded in shock, but those in Diddy's inner circle might not have been surprised. For Jakes, it seemed this was the moment to abandon neutrality. He declared that no amount of fame or wealth can forever conceal truth, that there's a spiritual reckoning ahead for those who've tried to mask darkness with money or influence. The timing was no coincidence. His words came just after the video began circulating and lawsuits were gaining momentum. That context added gravity to what he said. As the fallout from Diddy's controversies deepens, so does the public's hunger for transparency and moral clarity. The leaked footage of him attacking Cassie added fuel to already intense scrutiny. It stripped away the image of a charismatic music mogul and revealed something far darker. Jake's message resonated because it addressed that very dissonance. He reminded his congregation, and by extension the world, that truth demands exposure, even when uncomfortable. Silence in such times is complicity. And as the video played out across social platforms, the symbolism of Jakes' sermon became even clearer. It wasn't just about one man. It was about an entire culture that protects power at the expense of righteousness. Reaction online was swift and divided. Many praised Jakes for his courage, sharing his sermon across platforms with captions suggesting he had said what no one else dared to. Hashtags began trending. Voices from both religious and secular communities chimed in. Some saw it as the boldness needed to challenge systemic issues. Others viewed it as a betrayal, criticizing Jakes for publicly addressing a man he once counseled in private. Within certain industry circles, there was quiet resentment. Some questioned the appropriateness of the pulpit as a platform for such commentary, especially with legal matters still pending. Diddy's own response was cryptic, a post featuring a black square with the word betrayal. The post didn't stay up long, but it sent a clear message. He'd heard Jakes loud and clear. Still, Jakes did not waver. He didn't release clarifications or engage with critics. He let the sermon stand on its own. According to those close to him, he's ready for the fallout. Spiritually and otherwise, he knew the risks of speaking out. But he believed the stakes were too high to remain quiet. This wasn't about gossip. It was about calling evil what it is. And if that cost him relationships or influence, so be it. Historically, The relationship between celebrity culture and the church has been complex. Many stars have turned to spiritual leaders during times of personal crisis, seeking guidance or redemption. In turn, churches have often embraced these figures, sometimes offering protection or a chance to publicly repent. Jakes was one of the few spiritual leaders who managed to navigate that world with both grace and boundaries. He welcomed stars, but didn't always bless their choices. Still, the current crisis is exposing just how fragile those alliances are. As more disturbing allegations come forward and federal investigations ramp up, churchgoers and leaders alike are questioning whether the church has been too silent for too long. Jakes' message may signal a shift. Other pastors have since voiced support, echoing his sentiments about no longer enabling destructive behavior for the sake of cultural relevance or celebrity ties. Gospel artists and faith-based influencers are also chiming in. Some are reposting his sermon clips, adding their own messages of accountability. Others are staying quiet, perhaps unsure of where they stand, or afraid of the fallout. This moment is proving to be more than a scandal. It's a mirror held up to both the church and celebrity culture. Where does faith end and fame begin? What point does spiritual leadership demand confrontation, even when it's painful? T.D. Jakes didn't name names, but his message carried unmistakable implications. And while some may debate his methods, the conversation he sparked is long overdue. As for Diddy, the consequences are piling up. The lawsuits, the investigations, the public backlash. They all point to a man whose empire is crumbling. Losing spiritual support from someone as influential as Jakes is no small matter. It suggests that even his long-standing alliances are beginning to fracture. The question now isn't just whether Diddy will face legal consequences. It's whether the systems and people that have shielded him will finally stop looking the other way. What T.D. Jakes has done goes beyond commentary. He's drawn attention to a deeper issue: how we respond when those in power abuse it. His sermon wasn't a condemnation. It was a challenge to the church, to culture, to every individual who has stayed silent out of fear or loyalty. He reminded everyone that being a person of faith sometimes means stepping into uncomfortable truth, even when it costs you